Happy Wednesday movers. Your girl is back in full effect. Thank y'all so much for tuning in to an all new Coco Renee's Motivation Movement. I'm going to keep this short and sweet and to the punch. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. We have made it 2 years. Praise God, January 5th, 2020 makes it 2 years for this platform. So God blessed me to birth this platform in 2018. And here we are 2 years later, and we are still going strong. Now, I was a little bit more, at that time, more consistent. You know, I was uploading videos like 5 times out of the week. I had a lot of time on my hands in between work and kids than I have now. But God has opened up doors and expanded my territory where I am a little bit more busy these days. So I don't have as much availability to film or record on a day-to-day basis. But the fact that God still allows this platform to still stand and be here and to grow to now a podcast is an amazing thing after 2 years, just knowing, hey, my list was to start my own radio station. I knew that was going to be costly and it was going to be a process and it takes time to develop, and I was very excited about it, and it was like trying to hit the ground running and didn't realize it's a lot that goes into running a radio station. So the next best thing was to create a podcast, and God has allowed me to do that and be able to maintain it. As of last year, I created the Fourth Quarter Talk podcast. That podcast not only airs the official Coco Renee motivation movement, but it also airs the Midday Boss Show, the Let's Talk About It segment. So it's a lot of different elements. So I'm very, very grateful and thankful for that. Speaking of which, make sure you guys download the Castbox app so you guys can tune in to the Fourth Quarter Talk. And you guys can just pick whatever file, whatever you want to hear, and go to town. I'm sure you guys will find something that's interesting and it's going to be great. The Midday Boss Show, we still air on the Rise Radio Global Station on Saturdays at 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. Pacific. If you're on the East Coast, it's 4 to 5 your time. But the encores will air at 4 p.m. Pacific and 7 p.m. Eastern on the podcast. So if you miss it on Saturday and you don't get a chance to tune in live and direct, just check out the podcast, okay? But Rise Radio, you guys can tune in and download that on the TuneIn app. That way you guys can hear all the wonderful music, you know, in general that we have to offer on Rise Radio Global. So without further ado, make sure you guys are following me on Instagram, as well as Facebook at the Fourth Quarter Talk and at official Coco Renee. And let's go ahead and get into this brief motivation movement. Now, we'll continue daily affirmations later on in the week, but I want to just continue part 1 of the motivation movement from last week, where we're talking about the 2020 vision. We're talking about creating vision boards for 2020, being able to have an opportunity to put out and visualize what it is that we want to see ourselves do, what we want to accomplish in our year. And then you could go back on it later on in the year and you could just kind of check off the things that you were able to do, look back on the memories, and it makes you feel so proud. It makes you feel so rewarded, you know, when you can go back and see how God has moved you in the direction to execute each of those things. And then you get to start a new list. Sometimes we can't finish everything on the list. Sometimes we put too much on our list. So I always say start with your top 5 and work your way up. And if you see that, hey, I have room to add more, then add a couple more on. Don't overwhelm yourself trying to do too much in 1 year when we know that there's all types of different things that come along in the year. If it's manageable, add it to the list. And whatever you can finish, you add it on to next year's list. And that way you're able to knock out goals, and before you know it, you have accomplished all the things that you have sought out to do by the grace of God. And it's amazing when you can look back and say, man, I was able to do it. You feel so rewarded. You know, it's like more of an exciting feeling. And it helps you to also put something out there that you really, really want to do and accomplish it, you know. And I'm just telling you, it's the most rewarding feeling ever. You just have to go through the process to understand. So I urge you, please go ahead and get that vision board going and start knocking off things in that list. Also, keep in mind, in order for the vision to take place, you have to be able to believe in the manifestation of the vision. That is very important. If you are not manifesting it, if you're not believing in the power of the prayer, you're not believing that God is going to see you through and He's going to provide you all the tools and equip you with everything that you're going to need to be able to succeed and to be able to knock out all of those things, then it's not going to happen. It won't happen so smoothly. It's going to be some bumps along the way. You're going to start losing a little bit of faith and hope in the process, because you have to be able to really believe in what you are putting out there. Okay, if you're going to manifest it and this is your vision, you have to believe in it. You have to believe that you are going to be able to do it, and you have to believe in the prayer so that God can allow you to do it. Keep in mind that everything is not for us to accomplish. Some things, is not necessarily God's blessing or calling for us. So be accepting that everything that you have on your vision board may not come to pass, because maybe that's not what God sees fit for you. He may have something else in store, but just remember, the rejection is God's protection. He is trying to protect you from something that you might not even be aware of. Maybe it could be stress. Maybe it could be the pressure. It could be something that could tear you apart and bring you down spiritually, physically, emotionally, that you're trying to add onto your list that's just not for you. Leave it in God's hands. Feel confident that He has your back. Just know, He's not going to put you in a situation that He knows you're not going to be able to manage. But if you're putting more on your plate than what you should, you are going to find yourself not being able to manage. And then you're going to get mad at God because He put it on your plate, or He allowed you to have it on your plate when you never should have been praying for it to begin with. Let's be realistic about the things that we are putting on our vision boards. Let's take some accountability. We can't blame God for everything that happens. So just keep in mind, if it is ordained and it is in God's will, He will make sure that it comes to pass if it is in His will for you. If it's not, there will be another door that's going to open for something that's even greater. You just have to believe in it, have faith in it, and hold tight. Okay? Let me leave you guys with this. I manifested that I wanted to have a home. I manifested that I wanted to be a part of church ministry. I manifested that I wanted to be a part of youth ministry. And I manifested years ago that I wanted to be a part of a church that's being built from the ground up, from the development stages, so I can have more input and just be embedded in it and feel like I'm in it. You know what I mean? God is bringing all those things to life. I've manifested, but I believed in it. It's taken time. Some of these things are prayers from 10 years ago, child, but He feels that it's fit for me to start embarking on these things. It just took time to develop me, for me to grow, for me to go through the process to get to this point. And now He is giving me the opportunity to start moving in that position. But every single thing that I prayed for, it took time. It didn't come to me right away. And there was moments where I felt like it wasn't going to happen. I started losing my faith a little bit, and I had to say, no, God has brought me too far. I cannot just drop the ball on myself. If it's meant for me, he'll deliver. If it's not, He'll deliver something else. And He delivered. And He's still delivering. So just keep that in mind in your process. Be patient, wait, and just know whatever is at God's will and whatever He has for you, it's already happening. It's already going to happen. It's already predestined for you. Period. Okay. If it's not, there will be something else for you. Okay. That doesn't mean that it's the end of the road for you. It just means that God has another road for you to take. And believe me, that journey is going to be an amazing one as long as you allow Him to navigate the road and steer you in the right direction. All right, y'all. I got to go. I love y'all. I hope and pray that you guys have a peaceful, blessed evening. Until next time, movers. Toodles. What it do, movers? It's your girl, Coco Renee. Don't forget, the Coco Renee's Motivation Movement Daily Affirmation will now be airing on the Fourth Quarter Talk podcast on Castbox. Download that app right now and check it out.